Can we have Jim also sub in then as well?
All right, now we have a quorum.
Okay.
Like his evening, actually.
So now we're going to move on to the next agenda item. We need to approve the minutes from the February 4th, 2025, 9 a.m. meeting.
Motion, Bowledge.
Second, honestly.
We get a roll call, please.
Revis,
Yes.
Ballage,
Yes.
Oxley,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Richmond.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to the next item on our agenda, old business. Seeing none, moving on to the next item. Oh, go ahead. Member Van Dyne.
Thank you, Chair. I think this would be a nice opportunity to let folks know that we do have leadership stepping in today. We do have some excused absences all day long today. We do have up to 9 members out at NACO in Washington DC at a conference, the National Association of Counties. So I just wanted the public and staff to know that we are shorthanded and appreciate the leadership for stepping in to make quorum. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Van Dyne. Moving on, other old business. Again, seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Number 1, Access Will County Quarterly Update presentation from Elaine Bottomley. The floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you, Member Revis. Good morning. We are excited to be here to provide the first quarterly update about Access Will County. Elaine Bottomley, Deputy Chief of Staff for the County Executive. I'm here with Colin Phillips, our Mobility Manager. So as you know, we had some lengthy discussions at the last county board meeting, talking a little bit about what type of reports and what you all wanted to see quarterly about Access Will County. So this is kind of our first time bringing this forward to you with some information. So we took our best guess based off of the conversations we've had for what you would like to see. If this is information that aligns with what you want to see, great. If there's something else you want to see, if there's more, if you don't want a presentation, if you want a report, let us know. We're more than happy to change the format of this to make sure that it suits the needs that you guys have and the information that you want to see. So with that, primarily Colin's going to go ahead and give the presentation, and I'll hop in a little bit in the middle. So thank you for having us today.
As Elaine said, thank you. Because this is the first one, I've kind of overloaded this one with information. So if you need me to refine it in the future, I'm more than happy to do so. I'm going to quickly hand out something to be viewed later in the presentation. I think I've got 10 copies. I think everyone should be covered. More than happy to share my own. So on the first slide previously, you just saw an example of the vehicle used for this type of service. On the second slide, I try to give a background on how the dollar rides are broken up in Will County. These areas do not represent the service area where vehicles travel, but rather the eligibility area. So we have a few regional township dollar rides and a few dollar rides that just serve a single township. Just looking at this map, I think, it's great that every eligible Will County resident has a dollar ride service. However, I do want to note at this time that there are shortcomings to the system. Every day I receive calls from residents all over Will County. I typically use their home address to figure out which services are available to them. And I explain that even though I can only directly register them for my program, Access Will County, I try to be familiar with other programs, procedures, and give them a guide on how to register and use that service. I think in past discussions among residents that there seems to be some confusion and completion of these services, which is entirely understandable. But the biggest challenge I face on a day-to-day is trying to get someone transportation that maybe goes outside their township or outside Will County to where they maybe need to go to a medical appointment. That's not to criticize the limits of these services whatsoever. I think everyone can agree that these townships are providing a vital service to their residents. It's just that for a lot of folks, they may not be familiar with or frankly don't really care about township boundaries, which is very understandable. If they just need to get to a medical appointment, that's really the only thing that matters to them. So I just want everyone to be aware of how these services are broken down and, depending on where you live, which service you may be eligible, provided that you are maybe a senior or a resident living with disabilities. Okay, next slide, just a brief overview of how our program's funded. We have a few key partners Pace Suburban Bus provides the transportation service for us. We're also supported by federal funding from the Regional Transportation Authority and Age Guide. This helps us sustain our program and allowed us to expand in 2024. And then moving on to the next slide, I just want to give everyone a quick shot of what the interior of a vehicle looks like. I just want to use it to emphasize, as I tell residents when they talk to me, these vehicles come equipped with secured seating, electric wheelchair lifts, and driver assistance. And obviously that's really important to maintain accessibility for our residents with various mobility needs. And this is a really quick summary of how people typically get registered. They'll call me. I tend to be folks' first call in Will County. I often get referred to by other services and organizations. And regardless of where they live, I will try to figure out which service works for them. If they live in the eligible service area for Access Will County, I'll direct them to their local township. They will complete a registration form over the course of a 5-minute phone call. And that's important because a lot of the residents who are reaching out may not be comfortable using certain forms of technology, or they may live with disabilities that might impair their ability to do everything on a computer. So doing it over the phone whenever possible is probably the most accessible solution we have. Typically, if someone in Will County reaches out to me in the morning, we're going to have them set up and registered by the end of that day so they can start scheduling rides for tomorrow. Okay, and this is just an overview of how our program grew in 2024. The picture on the right is from our launch event in Wilmington over the summer when we expanded to Southwest Will County. We had the highest number of new registrations since the pandemic at about 400 new people. Our ridership was our highest in 6 years, second highest in our program history at just under 11,000 rides. Let's see. I think something that's important is we've really been able to work with our local partners and try to coordinate answers for the public. A certain level of customer service is necessary for this job. On paper, this program is largely administrative and operations focused, but that doesn't change the fact that a lot of people have questions and they want to know what their options are. So just for some insight, that's sort of my role here at the county, trying to mix the operations and just answering questions from the public and helping them out however I can. And this is just a view of how our ridership has grown over the past 5 years. Like many public transportation services in 2020, at the start of pandemic lockdowns, ridership dropped across the board for a lot of services. However, every year we have steadily grown back. And like I said, 2024 was our best year in 6 years in terms of number of rides delivered. And this just breaks it down by month. You can see, exactly when lockdowns kicked in, in March and April. However, every year, as you can see, we have continued to steadily grow. And, it's kind of tricky to do some research on this, looking at FTA analyses, but it seems that we are on pace or beating a lot of the standard across the nation, where they're only approaching maybe 75% of ridership pre-pandemic for a lot of services. So I'm happy to say that we do seem to be succeeding that right now. And this is just some metrics to help give you an idea of how our service works. As you can see on the figures, ridership is pretty mixed among each day of the week. Our peak hours are typically early morning, early afternoon. The median wait time for ride is 4 minutes. I don't know if this matters, but that does include the absolute value for early arrival times. Average travel time is about half hour. Average distance is about 10 miles in Will County. If you can put all the trips delivered in 2024 together, it's enough to circle the equator about 5 times. I'm a nerd. I thought that was fun. Whatever.
You are a nerd.
Yeah,
But it's a good way.
Did the glasses give it away? Or the
Yeah.
fact that I work at Will County? See, next slide goes into how our funding was broken down in fiscal year 2024. So the total program cost was around $478,000. Will County had a local match obligation for just under $181,000, while Age Guide and RTA paid for about $150,000 and $145,000 respectively. That means that Will County's cost per ride was just under $17 for that year, and we paid for just over a third of the total program cost. Okay, so this is the first thing we have for fiscal year 2025. That just kind of gives you an insight into how this first quarter is comparing even to last year, which was very successful for us in terms of ridership. So far in December, January, and February, we delivered over 3,100 rides. Based on those projections, we could easily hit 12,000 rides. If you account for seasonal changes, we typically see a higher amount of ridership in spring and summer. I think it's very reasonable for us to hit 13,000 rides this year. So I'm very happy with how our service has grown and how more people are reaching out and trying to get service through us. And this is just a rough estimate of what our fiscal year 25 funding might be. For context, the invoices for our service are received directly from Pace Suburban Bus, who provides our transportation. Those typically come around 45 days after the end of the month. So we got December's information in February. So we're not going to have the fiscal facts for first quarter of 2025 until probably next month or two. However, on the handout I did hand out, this gives us a snapshot of the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2024. Again, it just breaks down the rides and the comparative shares of cost. One thing to note is that, again, Will County is paying for about a third of the total program cost. I do want to note that on September, it says that Age Guide paid $0. They gave us a reasonable, very reasonable grant last year. However, they did increase that grant amount pretty significantly for this year. So we don't anticipate fully expending all the Age Guide funding for the program early like we did last year. And again, these are just my best guesses based on looking at the ridership and funding costs over the past couple of years. They're subject to change, but I do think they present a realistic view of how the program costs will be broken down. Okay, I'm going to hand it back over.
Yeah, so I know that at the last county board meeting, a couple of board members mentioned that they would like to hear kind of what we're thinking about the blueprint and the time frame for expansion. So we really wanted to start off with saying what we did in 2024. So historically, Access Will County just serviced the east side of the county. So Frankfort, Green Garden, Peatone, Moni, Will, Cretin, Washington. Last year, we expanded out to the southwestern portion of the county, and that is the 6 townships: Wilmington, Florence, Wilton, Reed, Custer, and Wesley. Those townships did not have service at all, so expanding out there was really great. It helped really provide coverage in a gap of service areas. So that expansion has been going really well. We think that is a little bit of the factor contributing to our increased ridership, but I think no matter what, we would be seeing increased ridership if we had just stuck with our same service area. So that is what we did in 2024. So if we go on to the next slide, we are in talks for a proposed expansion within 2025. You will see 3 townships are added onto here. It is Plainfield Township, Shanahan, and Manhattan. I'll talk a little bit about Plainfield Township first. Plainfield Township currently operates their own bus service and their own bus fleet. They don't have a contract with anyone else. They have their own buses. They have their own drivers. Their overall ridership eligibility mirrors ours. It's seniors, it's residents with disabilities, but they only provide service within their township areas. So Plainfield Township is regularly getting calls from their residents saying, hey, I have an appointment outside of township boundaries. Can you help me? Can you get me there? And there aren't options for them. So Plainfield Township approached us, asked if we would be willing and interested to expand within their community. Some of the numbers that Plainfield gave us was that last year they provided 1,500 rides, right? So that's just 1,500 rides within their township borders. If we extrapolate that out to what would that mean with them coming into our program, our estimate is that it'll probably be between 800 to 1,000 rides, especially because we're coming in to the year halfway. But we think that 800 to 1,000 out of Plainfield Township seems like a good estimate. So then we have Shanahan and Manhattan Township. That is currently served under Southwest Will Dial-A-Ride. Shanahan and Manhattan have agreements with Pace, so similar to us, right? They aren't providing the direct service. They have Pace, who handles all the call center, who handles all the rides, who handles the drivers. Shanahan and Manhattan Townships have seen very limited ridership historically. So last year alone, they had under 100 rides. That's across both of the townships, right? And there's a couple different reasons why. It's, hard to really promote a service. It's hard to really make sure that people have the accesses that they need. And it's hard to have someone on staff available to answer any questions and provide additional support like we have Colin doing every single day here at the county. The one thing I will say about Southwestern Will out of Shanahan and Manhattan, they have similar boundaries to us, right? They already go countywide. They offer that as a service to their seniors and residents with a disability. Our estimate would be that with including Shanahan and Manhattan Township within Access Will County, it would see anywhere between 130 to 170 rides. So taking in Plainfield, Shanahan, and Manhattan, our best guess at this point is about 1,000 rides that would add within 2025. What does that mean financially? So I know Colin shared that our overall cost per ride in 2024 was about $17. So just to kind of work in some round numbers, our guess, and this would be the highest that we would pay, right, is $20 per ride out of pocket. So $20 per ride, expecting 1,000 rides. Adding in Plainfield, Shanahan, and Manhattan Township is at a cost of $20,000 to Will County. These are funds that we have already allocated within our budget. We have the budget space for that. When we put together our budget proposal that was approved by you all, this was included in this in the hopes that we'd be able to have these conversations and bring forward something to you all in this year. So I say this because our conversations with Plainfield, Shanahan, and Manhattan and Pace have gone very well. Everyone's really excited about potential expansion, and we are planning on bringing forward an updated IGA with Pace to you all next month that will include expanded services of Access Will County to Plainfield, Shanahan, and Manhattan. More than happy to go more into depth about what this means, about what the costs are and any of that other fun stuff, but wanted to really start setting that expectation that we are excited to bring something like this forward to continue to expand access for our most vulnerable populations in Will County. So if we can go on to the next slide, unless there's any questions here, or we can save them to the end, I will. defer
We'll
to
save
the-
questions till the end.
Perfect. Thank you, Member Revis. So let's talk about 2026 and beyond. We've had some additional conversations with Central Will Dial-A-Ride. So that is Troy, Joliet, Lockport, and Homer Township. Central Will Dial-A-Ride is large. Their entire program is the exact same size as what we are currently operating. We are starting to talk with them about what this potentially looks like. There is interest in them coming into Access Will County. We want to make sure that our I's are dotted, our T's are crossed, because that'll be a big fiscal jump in the cost of our program. And we want to make sure that if we expand into Central Will, we're doing it properly, we're doing it correctly, and we're doing it in a way that makes the most fiscal sense. So Central Will is probably going to be one of the most time-consuming processes to get them to come into Access Will County, but they are interested, and we want to start having those conversations of feasibly what it looks like for them to come into our program. Outside of that, we have New Lenox Township. New Lenox Township operates a similar bus service that Plainfield Township does, right? They have their own buses, they have their own drivers. We've reached out to New Lenox to try to talk to them and see if they're interested. We haven't heard back. I understand it's a busy time right now for our townships. So New Lenox is a question mark for us right now, but we're absolutely more than happy to have some future conversations and see what interest there would be in them joining Access Will County, especially because they are also limited in their range that they cover, similar to Plainfield Township. My guess would be that there could be an opportunity for them to continue to operate their service with Access Will County acting as a safety net for folks that have appointments outside of township boundaries. And then we have our last two townships up at the northern part of the county, Wheatland and DuPage. We've not had any conversations with them directly, but I do know that a couple of them have reached out, said that they are interested in joining. But again, we want to make sure that we are providing service currently that meets the needs and expectations of our residents before we continue to expand to our more populated areas and our areas that would really have a huge impact on the overall budget of Access Will County. So the answer is not a no, but the answer is we don't know what we're going to do for the future, just because Wheatland, DuPage, and Central Will are going to come with a bigger price tag and cost of service. So with that is kind of our time frame and expectations for expansion and what those conversations are going to be.
Thank you. These are just some questions I share regularly at our quarterly meetings, the Paratransit Coordination Council. This is a good opportunity for me to speak to our local partners and townships and the public about what they've seen and heard. I do get calls, like I said, from residents all over Will County every day, and I'm always getting feedback about what's working, what's not. But that doesn't mean I hear everything, so it's really important to check in with our partners and see what their people are telling them. Are there issues with scheduling rides or late arrivals? Are the rides themselves going okay? What changes can we always work towards? And a broader discussion, of course, is, particularly as we look at expanding in 2025, is what can we do to educate Will County residents about their transportation options, whether it's our program or another program if they're outside that service area? What sort of outreach campaigns can we conduct? And so this is something that, in my role here, taking, maybe a dozen calls a day from Will County's residents, I'm always trying to figure out what can we do to make it better, for their sake and, for my own sake as well. I'd like to make sure that the program I'm running is meeting their needs without, additional challenges. And so I think our last slide is just bringing it all together. If you have any questions or requests for future quarterly updates, if there's information that, we presented that, meets what you need, or if there's something that's not answered, please feel free to let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Elaine. Do we have any questions from board members? No questions? Member Van Dyne, Chair Van Dyne?
Thank you, Chair Revis. Just a comment. I feel like this county board and the executive's office should be extremely proud to give over close to 11,000 rides last year. To me, that is something that, is super important to help out the most vulnerable residents that we do have in Will County, the elderly and also the disabled. So I'm super proud of what you folks have done. And I am fully committed to try to get the entire county invested in this and see if we can provide rides to the entire county. So thank you so much. That was a great presentation. I hope the board members can take this back and look and see if they want any additional information. But I think this is exactly kind of what we're looking for, how much per ride and how well we're servicing the vulnerable residents of Will County. So thank you so much.
Yeah, good work there. I'm glad to hear that the communications with the townships are remaining strong. If there's anything individual board members like myself can do to help, please let us know. So I think that concludes that agenda item. For now, we'll move on to the next item.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep. So moving on, we're going to need a motion for confirming award of contract to SKC Construction, Inc. for $347,750. Led on February 19th, 2025, countywide crack sealing in all county board districts.
So moved. Second.
We do a previous roll?
Previous roll.
I don't think we need anything further on that. No discussion. Oh, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to number 3, improvement by county under the Illinois Highway Code for the countywide crack sealing various roadways using motor fuel tax funds, $385,000, all county board districts. We get a motion?
Motion Ballard. Second. Previous Williams.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, confirming award of contract to Gallagher Asphalt Corporation for $7,645,008.31, led on February 19, 2025. Exchange Street, County Highway 49 from east of Cottage Grove Avenue to east of Michael Street, County Board District number 3. Could we get a motion?
Motion Ballard. Second. Previous Williams.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of New Lenox and the County of Will for maintenance and energy of traffic signals at the intersection of Gauger Road, County Highway 52, and Haven Avenue in the County of Will, County Board Districts numbers 2 and 5.
Motion Williams. Second Ballard.
I do have a question on this one, but we can. Well, we'll go to the question first. Jeff, so is this, they're existing traffic signals, but they, we have to update the intergovernmental agreement because we're getting new software
Yes,
within them?
these are all existing traffic signals, as you mentioned. And we do have to update the agreement, as you mentioned, because they don't include things for ITS, Intelligent Transportation Systems. The previous agreements didn't have that because ITS is kind of new. So we're incorporating the ability to manage that system. So that's just to make sure the municipality is on board with that.
And that's the same for 7, 8, and 9 as
It
well?
is.
Okay, all right, we will move, I think we need a previous roll. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, authorizing an intergovernmental, number 6, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Mokina and the County of Will for the maintenance and energy of traffic signals at the intersection of Francis Road, County Highway 64, and Town Line Road in the County of Will, County Board Districts 2 and 4.
Motion Williams. Second Ballard.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Mokina and the County of Will for the maintenance and energy of traffic signals at the intersection of 191st Street, County Highway 84, and 88th Avenue in the County of Will, County Board District Number 4.
Motion second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 8, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Mokina and the County of Will for the maintenance and energy of traffic signals at the intersection of 191st Street and Hickory Creek Drive in the County of Will, County Board District Number 4.
Second Williams. Previous Ballard.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 9, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Crest Hill and the County of Will for the maintenance and energy of traffic signals at the intersection of Weber Road, County Highway 88, and Randitch Road in the County of Will, County Board District Number 5.
Motion Williams. Second Ballard.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, off the traffic signals, we're moving into a new agenda item. Number 10, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for construction engineering services, Phase 3, with Bowman Consulting Group LTD for the reconstruction of the intersection of Bell Road, County Highway 16 at 143rd Street, County Highway 37, Section 12-00147-11, County Highway, County Board District Number 4.
Motion Ballard. Second Williams.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 11, authorizing the approval of supplemental professional services agreement with Patrick Engineering, Inc. on Francis Road, County Highway 64, Gauger Road, County Highway 52 to Interstate 80, Section 23-00131-12 FP, County Board District Number 5.
Motion Williams. Second Ballard.
Member Oxley, please turn on your microphone. Please turn on your microphone.
If this is the intersection of Francis and Gauger, I believe. Okay,
It's actually the corridor between Gauger and the I-80 overpass. So it's not the intersection itself.
okay.
It's just the corridor
Border,
between there.
that area for.
The intersection will get taken care of as part of our Gauger Road project, which is probably 2 years down the
The
road.
railroad tracks and stuff of that nature.
Correct.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
I think we need a previous. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so now we're moving on to number 11, approval of professional services agreement for design engineering services Phase 2 with BLA Inc. on Manhattan Money Road, County Highway 6 from the center road, County Highway 19 to Harlem Avenue, Section 19-0040-13-PV, County Board District Number 3.
Motion second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Number 13, agreement between the County of Will and the BNSF Railroad for grade separation bridge carrying Lorenzo Road, County Highway 80 over the BNSF Railroad, 1.25 miles west of I-55, section 2200-00048-05 BR, County Board, District Number 1. Can we get a motion?
Williams. Second Balance.
This is, work for the bridge over the.
Actually, the engineering work is now complete. This is the agreement that is between the county and the BNSF as far as how that will get constructed, the dollars. Because the BNSF is going to pay for it all. We're going to oversee the construction, but they're going to reimburse us. So it's taking care of those mechanics of how that works. So could be doing construction by the end of the year.
Thank you.
I did have a question on that one. It seems like this is a pretty extensive project. Is that correct?
It is.
So, is there anything that the county is doing to ensure that there's going to be a minimal disruption to residents in this?
Included in the plans is a runaround, which means they're going to run the traffic to the north of the existing crossing. So it'll be not a detour, but a bypass. So while they build a bridge, traffic will be rerouted to the north on a temporary crossing. So traffic will not be impeded.
Okay, good to know.
Chair,
Oh, Member Van Dyne.
I think I'm on.
He's on.
Jeff, I know this has been talked about for quite some time. Probably at least the idea came across about 3 years ago. I'm glad to see we're at this point now, but you mentioned that BNSF was going to pay for it. You guys, the county was going to oversee it. Did you come up with an agreement who's going to maintain the bridge after completion? Was it the city of Wilmington? Did they ever agree to maintain?
The bridge will remain, it will be ours, the county's to maintain.
Okay.
So the bridge is ours, but everything immediately from the east over is the city road.
Okay.
But the bridge itself will be county.
So, okay. And construction can start when?
To be determined, I think they still have to get 2 temporary easements, meaning BNSF. There's a few little things they still got to take care of. Best case scenario, fall. Best case scenario, start construction.
Okay, thank you.
We'll have to bring forward a construction engineering agreement probably in the next few months to manage the construction. So you'll see that in the next few months probably.
Thank you. Any more questions before, or I think we're going to need a previous roll there? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so we will move on to number 14, appropriating transportation funds, $1,039,500 for the acquisition of necessary right-of-way by agreement or condemnation and other right-of-way costs associated with the improvements for Laraway Road, County Highway 74, from Cherry Hill Road to Nelson Road, section 20-00138-44-LA, County Board District Number 2.
Motion Williams. Second Balance.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to number 15, authorizing approval of establishment of altered speed zone 696 along Exchange Street, County Highway 49 in County Board District Number 3.
Motion Williams. Second Balance.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 16, authorizing approval of supplemental professional services agreement with Bowman Consulting, Inc. on Francis Road, County Highway 64, and Marley Road intersection, section 23-00131-13-TL, County Board Districts 2, 4, and 5.
Motion Williams. Second Balance.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 17, authorizing the appropriation of motor fuel tax funds of $195,759.90 for supplemental professional design engineering services Phase 2 by county under the Illinois Highway Code for Francis Road, County Highway 64 and Marley Road intersection using motor fuel tax funds, County Board Districts 2, 4, and 5.
Motion Williams. Second Balance.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to other new business, seeing none. we have a couple items under the Director of Transportation discussion. Number one, overview of Will County Department of Transportation Phase 1 and 2 project website. Mr. Ronaldson, take it away.
All right, thank you very much. This first item is just a follow-up to what I mentioned last month. We did complete our website update to show the Phase 1 and Phase 2 projects that we are undergoing with an interactive map. So I've just given you a few screenshots here what that is. So when you land on our project website page, you had that first one, and then you can click on that PDF map there and it brings you to the second page. So if you want to scroll ahead, this is the interactive map showing where our projects that are in design are at right now. So at this point, you can either click on an individual project or you can click on the description on the right, either one, and it'll go to the next page, which will zoom into the project itself. So then here you can see a blow up of the project limits. And then on this side, you can go to where it says website, kind of in the left side there, website, and then you hit view. If you click that, it'll take you to the next page, which will either be the actual project's website or a one-page PDF description of that website if the project doesn't have a description already. So that's just kind of a quick overview of what that interactive website will do for anyone who wants to find out information on our design projects. And we've already had the construction one in, it's been in place for a year or two now, so it's very similar to that. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention if there are any questions or needs related to that.
Board members, any questions? All right, very
Hearing
good.
none?
Yeah, hearing none, we move on to number two, approval of first one-year extension of Phase 2 Consultant Program Coordinator as allowed under Resolution 24-32, Section 7.3.
All right. So for those of you who don't know, our office reviews a great many design plans, but we only have one design manager. So we have a consultant hired to review the plans for us under the direction of our in-house design manager, who's Eric Wessel, who's not here today. He's at a conference. So each year it's like a 3-year contract. So last year we approved it under the resolution alluded to there. And in that resolution, an agreement is the ability to extend their contract for 2 additional years. As mentioned in the description, we're looking for the first year recommendation to move forward. So by my recommendation and then by the committee's approval, that will bring that second year into effect. So I'm hereby recommending approval for a 1-year extension and asking for your approval to accept that. And it would stop here. It doesn't go to the county board, just the way the agreement was written. We and the committee are able to do that.
All right, let's give everybody a second to review it. It seems like people might need that. Otherwise, we'll wait for a motion. Things are going good with this consultant then, enough to where you feel that we should be extending it for.
We've had a
additional
good
2
history with HR Green in the several years previous and no issues whatsoever.
None? Never
None.
late for work like one time?
No.
Okay.
Chair.
Go ahead, Member Van Dyne.
I can just say that I've had the opportunity as chair of the Transportation Committee for the last 6 years. We've had a great relationship with HR Green, and I know you've been happy not only last year, but the previous 5 as well. So
Correct.
Where is HR Green based out of?
New Lenox. Well, they have a New Lenox office. The main one I might be in Aurora.
Member Balich, your microphone's on, sir.
Yeah, I have no problem with the Phase 2 except for 143rd Street. There's still a lawsuit going on. If we win the lawsuit, there's no need for Phase 2.
Understood.
So I'll be voting no, but it's just because of that one item.
Understood. I think Member Oxley made a motion. Are you looking to be recognized, sir?
Motion approved.
We got a motion. We got a second.
Previous,
Previous Balich. Second Richmond. All those in favor say aye. All
No.
those opposed?
I'm a no.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna need a roll call.
May I just
Yeah, we got a little out of order there.
may
My
I just
apologies.
clarify something real quick?
Yes,
If the-
please.
I don't know if it makes a difference for member ballots or not. This would just be for the review of all of our design projects. A conduct for that. It doesn't necessarily relate to 143rd. So I don't know if that makes a difference for you or
Say that
This-
again.
What we're voting on isn't really specific to 143rd. It's for the consultant to review all the design plans of all of our projects. So I don't know if that really
Right,
matters
but
to you or,
I don't want to vote for anything with 143rd.
okay, that's why I just wanted to
Until the-
clarify to make sure that that was the case.
Lawsuits
Okay.
complete.
All right, we'll take a roll call. Thank you, Sandy.
Revis,
Yes.
Balich,
No.
Oxley,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Richmond.
I'll go with Steve and say no.
Motion passes. Wait. Yeah, I guess it does.
All right, motion passes. We have the next item in our agenda, the state's attorney discussion. Are we expecting anything there? I don't think so.
I know.
Understood. Thank you. Now we are going to move on to the next item, monthly work reports. We have a maintenance status report, we have a construction status report, and we have a phase 2 summary report. Mr. Ronaldson, did you have anything you wanted to opine on with those, or we're just placing them on file?
Placing them on file to answer any questions if you have them upon your review of them.
Any questions from board members? And then Chuck, we don't need to make a motion on any of those, correct? Okay. Okay, reports by committee members. Anything from committee members? Public comment? Public comment? Public comment, hearing no public comment, we'll move on to announcements, reports by chair. I have none. No need for executive session, so can we get a motion to adjourn?
Motion ballot.
Second Williams.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Our next meeting is scheduled for April 1st, 2025 at 9 a.m. here in the committee room. Thank you, everybody.